Yeah, honestly, growing up in Hawaii was amazing. I think now I look back and definitely took that time for granted, just with how beautiful it is, but also the great people that are there. And, I was supported by so many family members and people that wanted to see me be successful. But, football was a long time dream. And I think sports in general is something that, I've always loved being a part of.
When did you start playing?
I remember starting playing football I think it was fourth grade. I don't know exactly what age I was at the time, but that's when I started playing. I remember I suited up with the Pro City Chargers, so I was rocking the purple, and definitely some of the best memories, still to this day.
Were you always a quarterback?
I played a bunch of different positions. As you can imagine when you're young, just trying to figure out, what it was. But when I played flag football, I remember I played a little quarterback. I played a little receiver, running back. Also played safety, because you had to play defense as well. But then when I got to tackle football, believe it or not, I played a little DN, played a little safety, played, running back, receiver, and quarterback as well.
What were you like as a defensive player?
I was pretty average on defense, to be quite honest. As you can imagine, defensive end probably wasn't my baby, but played a little safety. Running back and receiver were kind of just the filler positions, honestly. But quarterback obviously was a lot of fun that, being able to play that position.
You've gotten experience catching a touchdown pass.
I do.
In college, so I guess the skill set did pay off down the line.
Yeah, I think it does pay off, when you're a young kid, whether it's, now I've caught a touchdown, I've ran for one, and I've thrown one, but, I think all of that, all those experiences, it ends up getting you to this point of finding what you really want to play.
And in high school, as you're kind of growing through playing quarterback in Hawaii, how early was it in your journey you're exposed to Marcus Mariota? Because I have to imagine, it's been covered before that he's been a big inspiration for you, but when you see someone coming from where you come from, there has to be a kind of a mental aha there.
When we're growing up and playing the sport we love, football, we have direct, role models that have done it and been in our shoes. And, growing up, we watched Manti Te'o, Marcus Mariota, DeForest Buckner, guys that all went on to, be really successful at the college level, but also the NFL. But, particular to me, being a quarterback and Marcus being a quarterback, I think that, was even more of a connection of, seeing someone go do it and having a great role model and how he represented himself, but also how he played on the field.
Was there ever a moment when you were growing up that he had a camp or he was present at something that you were able to be a younger kid and have him say something or do something that really impacted you?
Yeah, I remember when I was at my elementary school, Holy Family Catholic Academy, and we had like a jump rope for heart, which was basically, you jump rope and, basically spread awareness on heart disease. And we had like local celebrities or influencers at the time to come out and, jump rope with us. And, I remember Marcus coming there, and I just remember getting a picture with him after. But just little things like that, always stick with me, and, always remind myself that there's, a little version of myself that also believes and has hope to, play at the next level.
But now you're kind of embracing that role. You've now gone back and are taking on that mantle of impacting high school students back in Hawaii now. Were some of those experiences really core for you in understanding the importance of giving back yourself so early?
Yeah, it was huge. Growing up, I've always loved football, but I think I really began to take it, way more serious when I got to high school, and I had, Coach Rod York, my head coach, a guy who believed in me and, trusted me and wanted to see me succeed, but also, my dad as my QB coach. When you have that experience at a young age, it's just, people in your corner that want to see you succeed as much as you want to. And I was pushed, and I think it's been the betterment of, where I'm at today and what I wanted to become. So I'm so grateful for my time at Mililani High School. It's a pivotal time for anyone, in finding what you want to do, in life and find your purpose. And I was able to find that at Mililani High School. So, any way I can give back and continue to, build there, it's something that is extremely special to me.
And when you do go back, has there been a moment where maybe a student talked to you where you got to feel the reverse side of maybe what you got to feel with Marcus, where you thought, wow, like I've really made an impact?
Yeah, I think just, I get the direct impact because, my little brother's on the basketball team. My dad's the head basketball coach.
Does it all?
At the, high school. So that's, a direct impact I was able to get when I got a bunch of jerseys and, see my little brother smile and get all excited about, the game of basketball. It's something that, you want for every kid. So once I did it there, I tried to replicate it, with the girls volleyball team, girls softball, girls soccer. And then, finally we ended up getting the football team. And we're just slowly making our way and trying to continue to grow. But I think those experiences that, you're able to see the smile on their face, it impacts you in a positive way. And, I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
I think maybe there's an understanding of how much you're building their confidence by giving them fresh uniforms. What maker is given? What's the brand that you got all the jerseys from?
Yeah, I think it's super important, as a guy who's played in a bunch of, cool uniforms, but most importantly, protective gear that makes you feel confident when you go out there. It's something that I think is extremely necessary. And, when we're able to get everyone the new Nike uniforms and obviously do the Nike deal with, the high school, you can definitely see the impact on everyone. And, just the quality and not only the resources that they have, but the ability to keep growing it. I think it's all goes hand in hand in, creating success for you on the field and off the field.
It's just so cool because then they can go turn on their TV, see you playing, and you're wearing the same gear.
Exactly.
That they are. To kind of fast forward through the rest of the high school career, you had a game we were talking about before we started filming. You played Tua in high school, but only got to play 2 quarters against him, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. I remember, warming up and getting ready to go. I think it was the first game of the year, honestly. And, we're warming up and we ended up getting out there and, played a quarter, played maybe a half of the second quarter, and the lights, go out. But, we get an announcement that the lights will be coming back on here shortly. And the game wasn't out of hand yet. So, Tua's got the ball. He goes down and scores, but the lights go out again. And, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, but, they ended up canceling the game right before half. And it's just a funny story now, knowing that the lights had went out when I was able to play Tua.
You've not gotten a rematch yet in college.
Haven't gotten a rematch, but, it's just a funny story we'll always look back on. And it's funny you bring that up because, we always talk about it when I go back home.
You sent through the high school ranks. I believe you broke the all-time passing yards record in Hawaii.
I did. But funny,
legend.
So cool fact. So when, I had started out, Tua had broke the record his senior year. Then as I was playing, obviously my senior year ended up breaking the record as well. But even cooler is Jaren Sagapolutele, a quarterback at Campbell High School. He just had broke the record. So it's a cool lineage and 3 lefty quarterbacks back to back to back.
Kind of like that.
So, maybe there's some lefties spinning it in the state of Hawaii, but I just think it's super cool to see the game continue to elevate and these guys play at a high level. And, that's what Tua did. He set the standard, and, I was able to, have my experience, and then Jaren's doing it as well. So
Is he heading next year?
He's committed to Cal right now. Yep.
It's going to be a big get.
It is.
Your recruiting process is fascinating. You end up winding up at UCF, where I believe you played high school football with McKenzie and then also play college football.
Yep.
You replaced him for injury at both spots.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, but I am a big believer in God and, being right where you need to be and, being able to learn from McKenzie his senior year in high school and my freshman year. He ended up getting injured and I played and got pulled up to varsity. So having a guy like him, supporting you and kind of walking you through, and showing you the ropes of how to, be a quarterback at that level was a great experience. And then when I was able to double back and do it at the college level, it's an experience I'll never, ever take for granted, or just extremely blessed to have that, relationship. He's my big bro, and a guy I still talk to this day. But, the experiences you have in college, and especially playing the quarterback position, he was right by my side, and seeing him go through what he was going through, and the strength, the mental strength, but also the continuous grind physically to get to a point where he got back on the field. It's something that, I'm so glad to be a part of that journey, because you see a guy who's, fought to get where he's been at. And it's probably the most special relationship you could have, and not only because of the football side, but just him being a big brother to me.
What's the number one thing you would say that you learned from him? I
would just say with McKenzie, he's always been a baller, and has done whatever it takes to win, but just even better person. You see the kind of guy he is in the locker room, and how people gravitate towards him. It's something that is so genuine and natural for him. And, I think I took that from him, and how he was able to, rally the troops and get guys behind him, but also instill belief in the people that, are going out to play with him. So, you see that, and you just are grateful to be around that. And like I said, those, 3 years in college, but also the time in high school, that's a guy I literally got to watch, on 2 levels, and see him grow, but also him be able to do the same for me. So, it goes way back, and someone we're able to just be ourselves with.
Is he like a coach in the room pretty much throughout?
He was a coach in the room, and not only to me, I speak about myself, but, everyone within that room as well. I think, being able to be around a guy who's played extremely well and went 13-0, it's not easy to do, and you understand that. So, just being able to have conversation, pick his brain on all the knowledge he has is definitely a tool we utilize.
It's hard to be lucky enough to have that kind of experience out of the gates to be able to play, but also have a guy like that sitting in your room that is one of the most successful quarterbacks in the program's history, and is also not being competitive, but being collaborative with you.
Yeah, at a young age, you got to have somebody that you can, kind of pick their brain and gain some knowledge on what you're about to embark on, right? And being in college, right from the get-go, I was able to have, a guy like him who was super supportive. And, I think as we saw each other going through our journeys of, him rehab and me season, we were able to just kind of find that middle ground of being able to, share the stories and the ups and downs we were going through, but also, smile our way through it, because we knew we had each other. So, like I said, he's my brother, and we had a bunch of fun, doing what we were doing, and, that journey was special because of it.
You are listening to the Zen Game Quarterback Show, where we go inside the minds of college quarterbacks. I am your host, Grant Gurton. And on today's show, we talk to Oregon quarterback and Heisman Trophy contender, Dillon Gabriel. You just heard Dillon recount his journey in Hawaii, playing football there. All of those things got him in a position to play college football at UCF, where he immediately was thrust into the starting lineup. If you want to hear more conversations with elite college football quarterbacks, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We pick up with Dillon discussing why his breakout game against Stanford, in which he threw for 347 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions, was his favorite moment from his time at UCF.
Yeah, I think the game against Stanford had to be a huge one. I think, I had my first start at FAU, but I think my first, real big start was against Stanford, and, the opportunity to play a Power 5 team at the time. It was, something you look forward to, being at the Group of 5 level at UCF, at that time. But, you look forward to those games, and I think when I had my first opportunity to truly, show what I could do, I want to take full advantage of it. But I just think as a team, a bunch of guys played the lights out that game, and just the energy within that stadium, and kind of that feeling of my first, big game was amazing. It was one I'll never forget, and I think it kind of set the tone for here on out. But I would also like to talk about the Georgia game, the Georgia Tech game during COVID. You know, that was an interesting season, to say the least. But I think, you know, just we appreciated, you know, being able to play the game we loved in such a time that was very confusing and unknown of what was really going to happen. But, you know, kind of have that normal, you know, energy or even normal routine of being able to play a football game. You know, you never take that game for granted ever again. Just knowing that, you know, we had that kind of COVID season.
It's funny because you have life's all about moments that prepare you for later moments. And I was going back and watching that Memphis game. It was so funny because it's this epic game. And there's like, I'm sure they sold out, but everyone was socially distanced because of COVID at that point. So it was weird to see this epic game, great stadium, two amazing teams, and not a full stadium. That was the normal. And we can forget that so easily for a period of time. But you guys went right down to the stretch there and they got you. And I kind of wondered, like when I was watching that last year, OU Texas, if there's some part of you in the back of your head that's like, man, I've been in these situations before. I'm not letting it, all due respect to a very good kicker, but I'm not letting it go that way.
Yeah, what's interesting, you know, enough you say that is I think you try to learn from your experiences and correct them. But I think God's got a funny way of, you know, telling you still got to fix a couple more things. And, you know, I think just as I look back, you know, during the certain times that I was learning these lessons, you know, I was definitely questioning and wondering why, you know, things were the way they were. But, you know, now you sit back and you realize that, you know, all those experiences, you know, build you and continue to make you grow in ways that will make you a better person, but also a better football player. And you just appreciate those times. And, you know, obviously when you get in 2-minute situations and, you know, third downs or in the red area, those are all, you know, things you take from all the experiences you had and try to apply and obviously not make the same mistake twice.
You gotta be careful. All of our cameras are still good because our guy behind the camera is a Longhorn, so might be getting PTSD back there.
I love it.
mentioning that game last year.
Yeah.
But it was an incredible performance, and it is cool when you can like look back at an arc like this and you say, oh man, that game definitely helped in the preparation for something larger later down the road.
For sure. I think, you know, as I look back too, you know, all those experiences in big games, you realize that there's a lot that goes with it, you know, and a lot of things have to be clicking on all cylinders. And you also realize that there's 11 people that got to make things happen. And, you know, I think we all had our part in that and had a bunch of fun. But, you know, I think college football is so special with all the different atmospheres you're able to, you know, play in and, you know, these environments, you know, whether away games or home games. You know, fans always come out and support, and you just appreciate that side of it because it truly makes, you know, the game so special. And we look forward to playing those type of games.
Bar bonkers neutral site. Like, there's nothing else like that in sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, I remember, you know, the first year we played in that game, so it wasn't the best one, but you know, you sit back and you think about it and you watch. But now, you know, in that second year, I was able to have my opportunity to actually play in it. You know, just what an experience and what a great time, you know, things that you'll never forget with all your teammates and, you know, someday you'll tell your kids about. But, you know, I'm a guy that just tries to stay present and, you know, keep grinding, and hopefully down the road, you know, 10, 15 years from now, that when it's all said and done, then you can look back and enjoy, you know, everything you're able to give to the game.
After discussing Dillon's big win against Texas, we discussed an even bigger win in his personal life, his recent engagement.
Yeah, Zoe was my rock. You know, I remember in 7th grade or our 6th grade orientation, I remember going to the garden and, you know, planting some green beans and some carrots and, whatever else, seeds we had to plant. She was with the green beans. I wasn't, but, I made sure I was able to get in the green bean group so I could be by her. And, I just remember, seeing her, and obviously she's beautiful, but just the person she is, and, the friends that we really just hit it off right at the beginning, and, just had a lot of fun. But dated in 7th grade, and, now obviously being able to, put a ring on it, it puts a smile on my face, and she's just someone who supports me and loves me for who I am, and obviously knows me from when I was very young. So, many times I don't even need to speak, and, we just know each other so well. So you appreciate that part, and being able to just be with one another and love each other through, our journey of life.
She's been with you the whole time through UCF and OU? Has she been able to be in the same location, or did you have to be long distance for a bit?
No, yeah. In Oklahoma, we were doing long distance, and we were like, hey, at a certain point, we'll try this thing out or not. And, I remember, when the decision came about, we were just kind of like, hey, let's do it. Let's try it. Worst case, she goes back home, but best case, it all worked out.
Oklahoma, she moved with you.
From Hawaii, she moved to Oklahoma.
Got it. That is a leap,
It is.
You feel like, mom's from Oklahoma. You feel like Orlando would have been on the list of the places. I think Orlando might have been the leap. Oklahoma might have been like, hey, let's wait till you get to the league.
No, it was definitely a leap.
That's how you know someone's in it with you.
But what's cool is, we got a middle school experience together. I remember being in choir class with her, and of course she definitely helped me with my math homework. And I remember spitting game on Gmail on our laptops. But then you get to high school, and you have those experiences together. But also, in college, I think, when you're able to share that college experience, move in together, you learn a lot about one another. And it wasn't easy at all, but you learn to live with one another and grow together. And, spending a college experience at Oklahoma and then here in Oregon, it's things that you'll never forget and you'll be able to tell your kids about. But just the fun times we've had are amazing, through all that.
How'd that help you when you got to OU in terms of just having probably such a grounding presence and that feeling of home in your corner on a day-to-day basis, probably instead of the occasional visit from a family member or a visit from her? I have to imagine it made a big difference.
Yeah, it's huge. I remember going through a tough year that first year, going 6-7 at Oklahoma, just the ups and downs of it, and, having someone that loves you and supports you and doesn't need to even say a word, but knows exactly, how to do so. It's honestly super refreshing and something that I'm super grateful for. And, I know that I can't do it alone, and having someone like her that is just, supportive through everything, it means a lot. But also she knows how to make me smile, and she's always been good at it. And I think she's been a perfect balance of what I needed, not only in my football journey, but just in life. And we've been able to have a lot of fun together. So I'm super blessed to have that.
Yeah, congratulations on that. First of all,
Thank
it's a
you.
really hard thing to find, and you finding that at such a young age is a really special thing.
For sure.
What advice would you give to athletes? I know it happens in a lot of cases where you enter school in a quality relationship, and then you get so much attention. Mm-hmm. And that can happen not just playing quarterback on a football team, in a lot of sports. What advice would you give to athletes to kind of tune that out and be able to keep your relationship strong, especially being long distance at first?
Yeah, I think it's tough, honestly. It definitely has its ups and downs, and I just think, with athletes in general, it's kind of a selfish time in your life of trying to, be the best version of yourself, and whether that's going to sleep early or not having a lot of time to spend with other people, you got to be very selective. But I think just athletes in general, you have a lot of respect for, the emotional roller coaster as well, and the people that are in relationships with athletes, they also understand that a lot comes with it. But you appreciate people like that get it, and support their significant other, but also understand that it's not easy, and I think it's interesting to navigate, but I think when you find the person that is not only great at it, but just knows you for who you are, it makes that, journey a lot easier.
Probably is a key factor in your success, probably a key factor in your focus. Knowing you had that back home, you didn't need to get distracted by all the other things that could be coming your way and just focus on being a great football player, great boyfriend, now a great fiance, and hopefully soon an amazing husband.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I haven't even thought about the wedding date. That's definitely up for discussion and things we've been talking about. But I just think it's exciting times, when that happens, and when you're able to get down on one knee, and it's a special moment for sure, and one I'll never forget. But that's life-changing, experiences that you're so grateful to have someone that you love so much and spend the rest of your life with.
TBD, but in Hawaii for sure.
We're thinking in Hawaii, honestly, but I'm a never say never guy. We'll see what happens, but I think Hawaii would probably be the, obviously yes. Why wouldn't you, right?
I feel like everyone want to go.
Exactly.
It's like you're probably you've got all these teammates, all these friends, family, coaches that all the time they're hearing Dillon's from Hawaii. I want an excuse to go to Hawaii. I think people would be psyched.
No, I agree. I think, I say Hawaii because the family and everything, but I think a lot of people would be excited as well that, the close family friends that want to get out there and have a great excuse, like you said. It would be a great excuse.
Be a very sought after invite.
Yes.
Amongst teammates.
Yes.
No doubt. A lot of good social media pictures for people.
100%.
It really sounds like Dillon's wedding is going to be a special day that has been built over a number of years. And I think that his relationship is probably one of many factors that has been able to keep him grounded in the ever-changing world of NIL in college sports, especially being a college football quarterback, where more attention is drawn to you than maybe any other position, especially in football.
What's kept you so grounded?
Yeah, I think just the way I was raised. I'm not a big flashy guy, or, have always been the same person that I've been, and try not to, be too crazy with my money, but, also having the right people in my corner and being extremely supportive. I think that's important as well, to have people that, take care of you and know what to do in those situations. But I think I've always been a efficient guy and not too flashy. I just, whether it's point A to point B, like the van, or, having something to wear, I think that's just how I've always been. So it hasn't been, too big of a transition, I guess.
You get the best gear here anyway. You don't need to buy much. I mean, Nike's pretty awesome, and Oregon is an extension of Nike. So I can't imagine the team swag they give you. It's lacking too much.
It's not lacking at all. I'll tell you that. If anything, we have too much in our locker that you have to clear out, every so often. So we're blessed and we're taken care of, and the gear we get is honestly top notch, and we have fun with it for sure.
It really doesn't get much better than that. How have you been able to invest your money and put it away so far? Because I think that's something that a lot of athletes find themselves with, an amount of capital that you probably never thought you'd have at this point. Mm-hmm. And so how have you navigated that? How have you navigated putting that away when you're not spending it, so that you just got engaged so you can have a great future for your family and start building something, so even when you get to the league, you've already got a foundation to start with, rather than just waiting for that first check to come in?
Yeah, well, as college athletes, we honestly have a lot of things that are already taken care of for us, and that starts with meals. You really shouldn't be spending too much money on meals. Housing, we get a monthly housing check on top of our scholarship checks that we still already get. So I think if you utilize your money in the right way, you really shouldn't be spending much at all. But on top of that, I'll go back to just having the right people in your corner. I was able to connect with people that, are very trustworthy and people that I've known and were vetted by other people that I trust. So it's important to have those kind of people around your money and making sure that it's continue to help you down the road. And then also living a life that is what you need and not what's necessarily always what you want, right? And I'm low maintenance, so that's been easy for me, but definitely understand, I can be difficult.
I think it speaks to how much you love what you're doing. Because if you really truly love waking up every day, going to the building, working to be the best quarterback you can be, if that fills your cup, if the relationship you have, which we talked at extension on the show, really fills your cup, you guys are there for the right reasons and you love each other's company, you don't really need all those other things.
What's difficult too to be aware of is just athletes that are coming in and, at 18 years old, maybe even younger, are finding themselves, but also now being in a honestly professional setting of getting paid and, playing the game of football that they love. I think it's just a transition from high school and you kind of learn that. But, I understand that as an athlete that's kind of gone through it, that, there may be some mistakes that are made, but, as long as they learn from them and have the right people in their corner, I think universities have done a great job at educating players and trying to help them out as much as possible. And, I think I'm very thoughtful of those guys and, young guys coming in that have to make adult decisions while trying to find themselves and going to college and, having that experience. There's a lot they're juggling. And, I say this as me, myself, but, I was able to have that experience as a young age where I didn't have NIL or, I kind of learned, the thing on the fly. So these guys are definitely, approaching some new challenges that nobody has gone through. So just things to think about for, guys that are going through it.
I've got some background even before the show. You've been outrageously blessed with a great support system coming into the college football experience where you had someone like McKenzie that was a few years ahead of you that helped connect you with some of the right people. Not everybody enters from that level of blessing to have the network of knowing Tua from the community in Hawaii, knowing the type of people that paved the way that you were smart enough to go follow in their footsteps. Not everyone does. But what advice do you give to that student that's listening to this podcast that's maybe not going to be for another 2 or 3 years, but then they get there, they get that check. And these checks are big now, and there are a lot of people getting them.
For sure.
What's your advice to find those people in their corner? They're sitting here thinking, man, what Dillon's talking about is awesome, but I don't know how to find that person. I'm scared. I want to spend all this money, but there's something. I want to drive that flashy car. I want to get this dope watch. I want to get the chain I can take back to my community and show everyone I made it. But I think I know I need someone that can be in my corner and I can at least run these things by to make sure I'm managing my future. Because it's not just about if they get to the league or not. It might just be even setting them up for the foundation. So when they get there, how you do anything is how you do everything. Comes out all the time. So when you get there, you make the right decisions when you get there. So how do you give that person got that lingering feeling they want to get started, but they got no idea where to start? How would you direct that person?
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's something I'm still learning. But I think at a young age, like you said, I've had great people around me. And I would just say try to find great people to surround yourself around that are trustworthy, that have been vetted by other people. And I say that because there's, just like anything, there's pros and cons, and there's things that they're great people that want to be around you and they're not so great people. So I would just say surround yourself around great people so that you're less susceptible to making some mistakes, and you'll fail and you'll learn through it. But I think what a blessing it is in college to learn these valuable lessons before inevitably some of these guys will be playing in the NFL, and they'll be a lot more educated on on the game and being able to be around people that can help them, because as athletes as well, we can't do it alone. You know, we're focused on the game, and I don't think you can juggle both and be to your full potential. So I think that's where I've, you know, found a lot of peace, is being able to trust people and utilize people in certain aspects to help me at what they're good at, and kind of build your team around you to you know, help navigate, you know, not only the college journey but the future after that.
And to close, just when you finish your football career, hopefully super long time from now,
Yes.
hopefully you're Brady, you play till 45 or longer. You know, I think that we're pushing genetics.
For sure.
But when it's all over, what do you hope your legacy that you leave on this game is?
Yeah, just a guy who's never taken a day for granted and appreciated, you know, the people he's been around. Always made the environment better, the morale better. Had a bunch of fun, you know, playing the game. I think also a person that is a leader and is a winner, and that's in every area of my life. And you know, more importantly than the player, I want them to know as a person that, you know, I supported them and loved them through the journeys together, and all the teammates I played with. You know, just having that impact on them, I think that's something that, you know, will live on beyond football. So, you know, the relationship aspect and knowing that, you know, and I think that goes hand in hand with who you are as a player.
Well, I can just tell you it's been an honor to get to have this conversation today and be a part of documenting this season at one step of it, and hope that everybody listening is as inspired as I was just being in the presence and hearing what you had to say.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Dillon Gabriel as much as we did. If you want to listen to more conversations with elite college football quarterbacks, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.